Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey everybody, what's going on? How's your Friday? Wait,
Cold.
It's not Friday yet.
I was just saying,
how's your Thursday?
It'll be great tomorrow. Is it your Friday out there in Winter Wonderland? If you're in Nebraska?
It is. Probably. What's with the snow?
It's a pain in the buttock.
Yeah. So I'm all tired and spacey. We didn't leave the house, so I didn't get my monsters.
Yeah. Should have made some coffee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's what's on the agenda. It's a Doctor Donna episode, so we're gonna talk about some Doctor Who, some more 10 and Donna episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing Ood. What's the other one?
Fires of Pompeii.
Okay.
Which I know we watched like
a long time ago.
Oh, a month ago or something.
But it's the PCAP episode, so you know.
Yeah. Yep. And something I didn't realize. We'll get into this once we dive into it, but a little treat for Melanie. It's also the Amy Pond episode.
Right.
I did not realize she was in that.
Yep.
I didn't either.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I was adjusting my camera. But first, how are you two doing?
Doing great. I'm on my phone tonight. That's how great I'm doing. Just disclaimer, folks. If anything goes weird, it's probably because I'm not using a computer to do this tonight.
It does feel like I'm soloing you.
Not awkward at all, guys. Check it out.
You look. You're looking like downward. It's like I kind of feel like, hey, Jesse. You know.
Yeah, it's a different angle. It's different everything. And this was all last minute, you know. I assumed I would roll in and just start up like I usually do. Don't update to Windows 11, folks. At least not like, a couple hours before the show.
Yeah. Hey. You're muted.
Oops, my bad. I was saying it's nice, though, because you get to see some stuff you don't normally get to see up above your head.
You're right. Yeah. All my figures. You got my figures. I just put up a new shelf up there. So all my Transformers are now like prominently displayed.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. I bet
so much stuff,
I bet,
guys.
Jesse, you sometimes will talk about those things on a TikTok. I was gonna think
that's like the only reason anyone follows me on TikTok, really. Yeah.
That's what made me think of your TikTok, because I know you'd.
You know what you need? I'm sorry. You need to get those like car stickers, and it's got like a boy, a girl, some animals, and then a whole bunch of like little Transformers and stuff.
That would be great. Like really tiny stick figures that are just all my action figures. That'd be great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd love that.
But the sticker keeps going across the back of the car.
Yeah, it just goes it wraps around to the front too. I've just got stickers everywhere.
Oh. And another bumper sticker says, "No, not new in box."
Not new in box. My other car is really just a shelf full of action figures.
Hey, Savannah. Savannah says she bought one of Jesse's stickers.
She did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a great value.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I think I threw a few extras in there because I usually like to do that anyways. But yeah.
Sweet. So.
Hey.
Yeah.
before we jump into Doctor Who, well, what you guys been watching? Anything interesting? Doing anything interesting like that?
Not that I remember.
Anything interesting like that? I did watch two episodes of was it The Last of Us? So I didn't get to the heartbreaking one that's a flashback or whatever. I didn't get to that one yet, but I did to get a little bit of that flavor. Pedro Pascal, he needs to stop being great at everything.
Right. It's such a show. It's just dread.
Yeah.
It's just dread. It's kind of like, it's definitely a different vibe than Walking Dead ever was.
Right.
But Walking Dead, in the midst of like, before there were I mean, I guess you know what, I fell off the show, and technically there probably were never unkillable characters, but there's definitely like, you get that dread when you're right, like the height of Walking Dead, when it's like anyone could die. You don't know.
Right.
You
yeah.
don't know.
So the early seasons, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, in The Last of Us, you know, at least, you know, you probably should figure who won't die.
Right.
The two people that are like, and that's not a spoiler. I don't have knowledge from the games, but what I know of the games, most likely the main two characters they probably won't die. I don't know. But
right.
Anybody who's not them, I'm like,
they're going to die.
Their time is limited.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because you're like, oh, that person's so sweet. They're going to die. It's guaranteed because, come on.
Oh, yeah, it'll never be happy in a show. So,
yeah.
So what do you think of it? Okay, so you're on episode 2.
Episode 2. Yep. It's good. I mean, like, it's well done. That's, you know, I'm not telling anybody anything new when I say something like that, but it's like, it's well done. It's well casted. The acting's solid. I mean, like, it's just another one of those shows that's just solidly crafted, and the accolades it's getting are well deserved, as far as I can tell.
I never played the games either, but I've seen memes of Pedro against the character in the game in different scenes, and he looks like him. I don't know that it's any more similar than that, because, like I said, I never played.
Whoa, you went sideways on us. Oh, and maybe he's gone now.
Well, that's okay. We can do it.
We can do it. Oh, he's back. Hi.
Hi, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was just going to try and change my lighting because I'm so bright this week, but I guess I'm not going to do that because it's going to mess everything up. Don't mess with things. That's the moral of this week.
I am, if you keep watching it, I am excited to hear your thoughts on upcoming episodes. It was episode 5. We just watched that. That's the one that they actually put that one out early because they didn't want to interfere with they didn't want to compete with the big game.
Oh,
I hate that. That's what it's. I know the
baseball.
Super Bowl's,
I know that's the one with the Sky Palace, right, and the windmills. That's that sport.
The big game. That game.
Yeah. I know all about the baseballs and with the lacrosse teams too.
Yeah.
The big game.
Yeah, that one.
That's what everybody was watching Sunday.
That and some Rihanna concert.
You know what? As far as like what filters through the internet and hits my eyeballs, and like, I don't know anyone who watches that game for the sport.
Right.
I don't know really anyone who really watches it at all. It might as well just be a concert that everybody inexplicably for some weird random reason tunes into.
Right.
And then complains about.
And it's always some random like a few years ago, like, wasn't it? Who was it?
I couldn't tell you who played
Missy
last year,
Misdemeanor?
but I could tell you that all the hip hop from the like late 90s, early 2000s was on it. That's what I can tell you about last year. I don't know what teams played.
The most random, like, maybe there's somebody new that I don't know, and then people who are, I'm like, well, they're still alive. They're still making music. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they'll just jump out and like, and they're the big surprise. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I was gonna say, this year I learned through meme both that Rihanna wore red and that she was pregnant.
Right.
Because of the best post ever, but I'm not going to share it right now because I don't know that it's appropriate.
Oh, I know people were upset about the satanic.
Because she was wearing red. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Representation.
Satan is red, guys. In case you didn't know.
I will say also, though, since we're on the topic of that specifically, a couple notable trailers. Jesse, did you watch any of the notable trailers that happened to drop around that time? I didn't. I'd catch them on YouTube, of course.
I mean, I watched the one. I watched the Flash one. So
right.
There was something else too, right? Like there was a Guardians one. I
Guardians Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Really that and I was about to say Batman. Might as well be Batman. That's who they are hoisting the promotion on is Batman for sure. And that one Flash is.
They were like, guys, this is why we couldn't cancel this movie.
Right.
We paid Keaton money. we paid Keaton money to make this.
We already canceled one he made an appearance in. We can't throw all of that away.
Right.
And that's smarter than because I will see it just because I want to see Keaton as Batman.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
it does look bonkers and crazy and interesting. I just wish that he wasn't a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Right. I think everyone wishes that, especially anyone who's like tied to the production of that. Just like, God. I'm a little amazed. At a certain point when they announced, like when it was in the height of like he was actively avoiding police and there's all these crazy stories about him, like potentially kidnapping charges and just crazy stories that I do not know if are true or not, alleged stories, but when WB's like, no, we're still going forward with this movie. It's like they are way too invested to cancel that. They don't care. They'll probably keep him out of jail until the movie till the checks clear. And then they're like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, can't they just like CGI him and you know what I mean?
Oh, they did.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because there's multiple Barrys in this show.
Yeah.
That's just his name eludes me. Grant Gustafson.
Oh, Grant Gustin. Yeah, they
just slide him in there. See if no one notices the change.
And
it's just like a poor. It's
just another episode. It's just another episode of the final season of The Flash.
And it's still
it's like tune in theaters now.
Still CW budget quality effects.
Hey, Ben Affleck Batman that I know because reasons.
Yeah.
He was in that too, huh?
Yeah,
I was a little surprised about that. Yeah. I was a little surprised.
Well, that was announced. Like they had said that they put Ben Affleck in there. I was surprised to see Keaton because they made it sound like he was out.
Oh no, they'd be so dumb. Well, I wasn't sure because I know they did a bunch of reshoots. Man, I wonder how much. Like, there's a good chance it's going to be a hot mess. Hello, wave to you over on YouTube. Thanks for watching. But there's going to be a bunch of there were a bunch of reshoots, so it was started well before they were going to basically reboot. I don't know. James Gunn and whatever their whole plans, like it's super fortunate that, we happen to be making a Flashpoint movie. This could be beneficial to rebooting the whole thing and starting over, more or less. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Indiana Jones movie. There's a trailer.
Oh, is there a trailer for that? Oh,
I kept hearing they were going to do it, and they did. There's some very Harrison, and they did. I'm like, why? There's some very old Harrison looking Ford, very old looking Harrison Ford, and then there's some de-aging scenes going on. It seems like.
Oh, those always go well.
Right.
especially in non-Star Wars properties.
Right. What else? I thought there was something else. Obviously, Fast 10, but I didn't watch that
Oh yeah.
because I don't think I've watched one since part 3. Which
I
one
don't
was
think I
Tokyo
even
Drift? That was part 2, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think I've even seen part 2. I might have seen part 2, but I don't think so. I definitely haven't seen past that.
You want to talk about a twist? The biggest twist of any movie franchise is Fast and the Furious not being totally relegated to like made straight to video or straight to streaming low budget movies, because part 2 and 3 is definitely, that's the direction the franchise was going. How did it come back? It's amazing. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We did also watch the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day special. A happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody, by the way.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
It was, of course, ridiculous, because that show's ridiculous, but it was like very ridiculous.
Yeah, like a giant character humping buildings until they fell apart. Ridiculous.
They kind of like, they don't, the rails are off. Okay, so Batman can't do that, right? But like everybody else could do whatever they want. Yeah, they've got, and this will be spoilers on there, they've got a gigantic Bane running around Gotham naked, humping buildings over.
That's a new side effect of Venom.
It's the kind of thing, like, on one hand, I'm like, oh, this is so stupid. But then on the other hand, it's so ridiculous that I kept wanting to, like, I want to find clips of this and send it to Jesse without context. Just random clips of this, of just the weirdest, most obscene stuff going on. Bane was not played by Tom Hardy. Definitely
Really?
not.
Is it?
That's weird.
Is that Alan Tudyk? Or no, that's Clayface is Alan Tudyk. Huh?
I mean, Alan Tudyk does a bunch of voices. He does Clayface. He did Clayface's bottom half in this episode, and then there was, what was that other character? Killer Croc had a moment in there, and that was definitely Alan Tudyk. You could tell. I'm not sure who does Bane, but he does it. He does do Bane in a very Tom Hardy way. And there were several like direct quotes. What was it? Somebody's like, oh, that would be very sad. And he's like, oh, it would be very sad for you or something. Just stupid little things like throw in there. But I don't know, man. It's somehow like the adult animated series. Sometimes it's like dumb in a way that would really turn me off. But at the same time, I don't know, it's kind of charming because they're doing it with DC characters, and it's like, who let you do this? Why are you doing this? And overall, the characters are well written. The jokes are pretty juvenile, but
It's got a Venture Brothers feel to me.
yeah, yeah.
Not quite as good though, but that's just years though of love that I have for Venture Brothers that makes it hard to, compete with.
Oh, Savannah said I'm into it already. I will say Bane is one of my favorite characters in that show, because he's kind of super pathetic. He's kind of super pathetic, but you like him because of it.
Yeah, I love. He'll get caught up on stuff like stupid, like you didn't return my pasta maker for like 4 episodes. Like super upset about it.
That was like his season arc, was getting over them not returning his pasta maker to him this season. Every scene he'd show up, he'd be upset about that. He'd be all butthurt about it, as they say.
This is the guy who broke the bat.
Right. Bruce Wayne. It's fun in an Elseworlds way when it gets to like, Harley and Ivy, they're written very like kind of contemporary, but their characters aren't a big departure from who their characters kind of are, right? But then like you get into like Bruce Wayne and Bane and some of the other characters. Swamp Thing, he's not in it a lot. Swamp Thing with a man bun, he's totally a hipster.
Whoa.
Like it gets into like Elseworld style fun where it's just like this character but not really, like but ridiculous. So
I kind of love some of the stuff they do with Bruce Wayne though. They make him so damaged, it's ridiculous.
yeah, of course. Commissioner Gordon might be one of the more abrasive ones because he's really kind of seedy and and desperate and pathetic all the time, but like not in a way like Bane is like kind of pathetic, but it's in an endearing way. While Commissioner Gordon, who's like Commissioner Gordon, is desperate in a like kind of seedy alcoholic single father type way, I guess is the best way to put it. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like he's only like the only reason he's not a like totally terrible crooked cop is because Barbara is there to be like, Dad, what are you doing? You know, like
Yeah.
So they run with the character. It's lit. If you haven't jumped, I can't believe it's still going. I'm glad it's seems to have survived the purge, the
merger,
initial merger purge. It must get views, and I'm glad. It's one of those shows where it's like, yeah, I enjoy it. I don't expect it to last long. Speaking of, Doom Patrol is done after this last season. I don't know when they're airing the second half of this final season, but yeah. Anyway,
That's a bummer.
yeah, I'm. If the second half of the season's like the first half, I'm ready for it because I don't think Melanie shares my opinion, but I'm not wild about this last season. It's not.
Oh no,
bad.
I'm not wild about it either, but I don't think it's all that much worse than any of the other seasons, honestly.
I just kind of feel like I feel like the writing took a little bit of a dip, or they just don't know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I'm just not into whatever they're doing with the character. It's, that's a show that's built on the characters, and I feel like they don't know what to do with them at this point. So I don't like what they're doing with them.
Yeah. They're
It's kind of lame.
I agree.
And I hate the butts. Why's everything got to have weird talking butt humor? I don't get it. Well, Jim Carrey infiltrated DC.
Oh boy.
Little Ace Ventura reference for you guys. The kids are all about that Ace Ventura, aren't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, if the Riddler, your entrance is good. His was better.
I hate the internet in that, like, it gives people a platform to say ridiculous things like, Space Jam is good. The Joel Schumacher Batman movies were good. You're all wrong. No.
no, come on.
I'm just going to say,
Yeah.
Al Gore canceled the internet.
Yeah, your creation has grown beyond your control, sir.
Do you think in the future he will just be straight up credited with creating the internet because people are it's going to be idiocracy, so it's just going to be like it's going to be word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Climate change
It'll make
will
sense.
burn up
Like facts will just not be facts. We're already like limping into that territory as it is.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura is a little dated and out of touch. I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh. Hey, did you guys hear about this new Tekken movie? Randy just throws his headphones across the room. I'm done.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, it's kind of embarrassing, but there were enough laughs had.
It was such a good moment, though. Like, it makes such a good running gag, I think.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like traveling in time.
It's a great one.
Sorry. Yeah, it's like time travel, like a show we watch.
What happens in that show? Is that show in the future?
No.
In the future?
It's in the past.
Okay, so
in this episode.
Okay, we got to do our. We're on the podcast now. We're recording the Grawlix podcast.
Oh, I
right
wanted
now.
to throw out an update real quick. I can go fast on this though because there's nothing to talk about.
Let's
Remember
do it.
last week when I told you guys I listened to that big podcast audiobook?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically 2 weeks ago. And so I followed up because I was like, there's got to be a book out there somewhere for us. You know?
Yeah, for the pod. Yeah, because the whole thing was, for anybody who happens to not know what we're talking about, we were just talking about like how business podcasters and the big mainstream podcasts like are kind of like detached from the reality of where podcasts started. It started way back with tech nerds, but like the like fandom hobby podcasts have been around forever.
Right.
And
but all the books are not geared towards that at all. Like they're all geared towards entrepreneurs and like marketing podcasts, and you just create your ClickFunnels, that kind of stuff. And so I was like, there's got to be at least one book out there about how to create a nerd show, right? And so I do a search and I find that Audible has an audiobook called Podcast You Nerd. And I'm so excited because the subtitle to Podcast You Nerd is Podcasting Lessons from a 15 years in podcast hell as a video game, music, and movie podcaster. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. This is everything I would want in a book about podcasting. And then I look at it and it's like 34 minutes long. It's shorter than an episode of the Grawlix. It's shorter than this episode of Grawlix so far. Almost pretty close. We're getting there. Like we're almost as long as this audiobook.
And it's an audiobook.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is going to have to be pretty tight. If this is like, but it's also like $2 or something like that. It was like maybe $2.99. Maybe it was $3. I was like, I'm paying $3 for less than a podcast episode, but I gotta have this book now because I'm like insanely curious. What could this possibly be about? It's basically like, what if you took one of those books about podcasting and our first episode where we try to explain ourselves, where we're just like, no, we're here to talk about things and we're qualified, that kind of thing. But it's like, here's how it failed over and over and over and over. And here's how you can too. and in the production of this audiobook, he does a couple false takes. Like he does a take of a line and then he does it again, but he forgot to remove the initial line. And he does it like 2 or 3 times. And he even talks about podcasting's great because you can edit things out. It's like, wow, cool. It's like, this is 34 minutes and it really could have been 30 minutes because there's at least 4 minutes you should have cut.
Not that we should have room to speak really, but
no.
I wonder why he failed over and over again.
Well, and I wouldn't even say I'm it's weird. Right. I'm exaggerating for effect. It's I guess what I do. Like he had some successful shows and stuff in his path, and he was like into, I think, radio in college and whatnot. And so like, yeah, it makes sense that he would do podcasting for 15 years. But like this book was fine if what I'm looking for is basically the memoir of a guy who kind of sort of had a podcast about sequels that nobody maybe is listening to. I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. It wasn't really relevant to the book itself. But it's like, this kind of fails on both fronts. It's neither a good memoir audiobook nor a good how-to podcast book. It's just like, it can't decide which one of those things it is because it's kind of both and kind of neither at the same time. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily spending the $3 on it.
Yeah.
But also, it's only half an hour of your life.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was just a little update. I'm still looking for a good book on nerd podcasting. It's got to exist, but I still haven't found it. Because podcasters, if they do write a book, they're like Kevin Smith, where they're just like, I'm just going to take everything you did say on a podcast and turn it into a book. Or they try to be too funny, like Rhett and Link. And it's like, we're writing a book about how to be mythical or whatever, mythicality.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's totally just not even supposed to be serious at all. So it's either one or the other. But I have not found the definitive how to be successful at nerd podcasting book.
I don't think anybody knows. It just happens for some people because they're good personalities, I guess. I don't know. And we're all sucky.
Well, and
sorry.
It probably well, part of it is
nerds don't want to jinx it.
Well, they're probably not. I mean,
they're like, as soon as we write this book, everything's gonna suck again.
I was about to say it. Well, it takes time and effort, but it takes time and effort when they could otherwise be reading comics or watching Marvel movies or talking about Doctor Who, whatever. Like, it's not
the
what
thing
they're
they do for their successful show.
Business people are all about, okay, produce this content that's made to get people into my email funnel, my email list, a click funnel. And now I need to repurpose this content over here to get it to more people. And then I need this ebook. And if it's not free, it's going to be cheap because the whole point of the ebook is to transition them over to their email funnel. And that's all to transition them over to setting up a meeting.
Class or something, yeah.
And they can join my mastermind or take my coaching lessons or, my challenge, my week-long challenge, whatever it is. Like,
now apply that to our nerddom and let's do it. Get famous, and then we get to write the book.
We write
there. You go.
Like, listen, right now, if you sign up for our email list, which we don't have, I don't think, or if we do, we forgot about it, and
we do. I don't know what service.
We haven't logged into it in at least 3 years. Yeah, we haven't logged into it. We don't know what the password is. But if you sign up for it, you'll get our ebook about how there are podcasts out there, and they're cool.
I feel like the book about podcasting I would write now versus the book I would write even say 3 years
I want that
ago
book because your book would be so like
vastly different.
Your book would be so angry.
Yeah, it would.
I want the Randy book on podcasting now.
It was so predictable. Like, I should have known this is how it was going to go, right? But like, I would be glossy eye. Podcast is democratized. Anybody could do it. Everyone's great, and everybody's blah blah blah. And now I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
The great thing about podcasting is everybody can do it. The worst thing about podcasting, everybody can do it.
Yeah, or at least thinks they can.
Yeah.
I did. I know, Melanie. Thank you. I did randomly, because I haven't even been listening. I used to listen to podcasts all the time. I was listening to a Grind Bin the other night, and I was like, I'm so glad they're still going, man. Grind Bin podcast.
Yeah.
I was listening to it, and it was thoroughly enjoyable, and I was like, I miss these guys. And that's what it is. It's not about, like, we're not here to get actionable like knowledge, content, or
call to action.
Yeah. We're not worried
before
about
the mid-roll.
Grind Bin, I was like, oh man, this is like hanging out with friends that I haven't hung out with in years. And that was what it was. Like, that's the appeal, I think, of a good fandom or entertainment podcast. But like, how do you charge people for that, right? I mean, I guess Patreon, but I don't know, man. The other thing is, it's so nebulous, like podcasting, just as a thing, because it's so irritating. And that's where I know we're treading the same ground. But like, where we were talking about the book thing to begin with, is like, all those business podcasts, like, they didn't jump on until after, like, advertising in podcasting was a common thing. Advertising in podcasting was not a common thing when we first started. Like, that was not really an option. And well, it still isn't for us, but we don't have that listenership. But like, it wasn't an inch like a money making industry at that point. But we didn't even jump into it till I had worried too late. I didn't discover it till like after the Hollywood D-bags were on there, and they're not all D-bags, like Kevin Smith, but like I didn't even discover it till after like they kind of were really propping it up and spreading it even further into mainstream. So like, it's hard to like, I think for any one person to like be able to, I don't know. I feel like if anyone's going to try to like, here's the history of podcasts, like they have to do their research. Right. And I feel like there's a lot of people that just like research to the end of their niche or whatever, like sect of podcasting they're interested in, or they're figure them, and they're like, oh, that's it. There was nothing before that.
Yeah. That's podcasting, folks.
That's podcast. Yeah. I've heard people saying like, oh, it's podcasting since 2000. I don't know.
Right.
13. Oh, that was the early days. It's going to be the first days. And it's like, well, not really, man. Like, I mean, that was early days, but it wasn't like early days.
Oh,
anyway.
Oh, do you even lip-sync, bro?
Right.
Like some of these original like podcast hosting sites that don't, if they exist, like nobody uses them anymore. So
somehow Libsyn is still around. Libsyn is used. I'm trying to think of ones that there's got to be ones that died off. I will say I'm still proud of the fact that we used a Blogger website,
right,
and FeedBurner, pulling files from archive.org.
Yeah,
that was what powered our podcast feed at the beginning. All free services.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not totally reliable.
No, not at all. No.
Anyway. Okay. In the future, it will be in children's textbooks that Al Gore created the internet and Gary Vee created podcasts. Does he even podcast?
Oh, yeah, but not really.
Of course. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He podcasts in that everybody has a podcast, right?
Oh, yeah. He's like, you don't create, you document.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard that phrase.
I'm not a fan, really.
I can't imagine why.
And I'm Randy.
And I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Welcome to the Grawlix Podcast, episode number 99.002. Is that too many zeros? Is that
if
maybe
you flip
maybe
that
we
backwards?
Didn't
That'd be like episode 200.
One day.
Oh.
All right, here's what we're talking about on this episode of the Grawlix Podcast, which we are now recording.
You're
we're
welcome,
back to Doctor
Internet.
Donna. You're welcome. I know you missed us.
Yeah.
You can check out our blogger site, and you can also listen to us on archive.org.
Yeah, you could you could rate and review us on iTunes.
Have you heard of this new thing called Patreon? Maybe
yeah,
we
you
should
can
check
sign
that
up.
out.
We might have some pre-shows.
Yeah.
I got an email from Patreon. Hey, it's been a while since you made a post. You probably should make a post. Oh. Speaking of Grind Bin, hey, what's up?
Hey, Grind Bin.
Oh man, I think they're still supporters. I listen to them religiously every week. It hasn't been years since I listened. Okay. We're continuing Doctor Donna. That 60th anniversary, it's right around the corner, right?
It is.
It's coming up. It's coming up fast. Actually, sadly, it is kind of coming up fast. Like, this year's flying by. So we're going to talk about the fires of Pompeii. Pompeii.
Oh, that Pompeii, man.
Which was episode 2 of series 4 of New Who, as well as Planet of the Ood, which was episode 3. And this is, in my opinion, quite the grouping. This is a good, I feel like, a solid group of episodes. a solid pair. They came out swinging this season.
Yep.
Have we talked ourselves out before we actually
Before we even started? Yeah.
Okay. Fires of Pompeii. This one, obviously, they go to Pompeii.
On Volcano Day.
They continue / reinforce its torment of Donna in this episode. And Amy Pond and PCAP. It's just Amy Pond. That's her name. Amy Pond and PCAP make appearances. It's amazing. I didn't even realize Amy Pond was in this one.
Me either. Luckily.
Well, let's talk about this one. What do you guys think of this episode? Where does it sit? Kind of, I don't know. How fond are you of this?
It's a pretty good way to introduce like the new companion to what it's really like to travel through time and space with the Doctor, because like before this, all of Donna's adventures have been kind of Earth-based, but in her time,
Yeah.
like she's flown in a spaceship, but she hasn't done any real time travel until now. And now she's like, whoa, I'm speaking Roman now. I know a little bit of Roman, and so she tries it, and then I can't remember what was the TARDIS tries to translate it into something else, and the guy is like, I don't speak that. I don't speak Gaelic or something,
Yeah, I think it was Gaelic. Yeah, they come back to that. I thought that was fun with the TARDIS translation, playing with that a bit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode was a good follow-up to the last one because the Doctor went a little bonkers, right? The last one was the spider one, right?
No, that was the first Donna one, but the last one was the adipose with the little fat creatures.
Okay, never mind. Oh, I was thinking about the spider one because he seemed like, a little nuts there. This one helped, I think, for her to be like, okay, well, these are really super big decisions that affect more than just like the surface that I see, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean the adipose one feels like it's not a character episode. That's a plot point episode. Let's get Donna. I guess it's establishing Donna as a character who wants to go with the Doctor, But it's like, let's get Donna and the Doctor together. Maybe they'll have a little fun. There's a cute creature, whatever. But then it's like they waste no time into. But here's what we're really doing, and they really do hit on that point, the character point with this of the spider episode, maybe the Doctor was a bit unhinged with the spider one, but it's not uncommon for him to make those big calls.
Yeah.
And if she's going to roll with him now, she's got to help make those big calls.
Right.
She's a good actor. I think she's really good in this and the next one. But again, it's that rewatch. I was like, I didn't realize how almost every episode they just hit Donna with. I feel like more so than Rose or some of the other companions, she gets hit with, at least right off the bat, some real heavy stuff fairly consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like after this adventure, she'd be like, yeah, no, never mind. I was wrong. I want to go
especially
home.
After these two adventures, it's just ripping the Band-Aid off in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, and I know they made it a point of Pompeii had to burn because otherwise these aliens, their plan was gonna destroy Earth basically for humans anyway. But at least with Planet of the Ood, they helped, kind of. They were there, and a good thing eventually happened. In this one, she helped him murder a whole city of people. She put her hand on there
she
willingly.
Was just grasping at straws, just like, somebody, save somebody, anybody,
Yeah.
It's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Just one.
What do you think about the CGI in this? Because this is, this could be one of those things that really dates this first episode, or I guess second episode.
Yeah, I feel like it. I mean, it's okay. It's mainly the fire monsters, right? Whatever. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but yeah, it's kind of dated. It's not as bad as maybe some of the stuff. I feel like when they're in the open cave area, it's worse. Or maybe it's just like the staging feels stiffer. Like it's clear, like the one guy's just up there in his one spot. The human villain guy, I don't know what his name was either, but and he's not going to move from there because that's where the digital matte painting is. And then there's some like clearly composited over CG monsters. It's a little rough.
Right.
A little rough.
Yeah, it's better when you can view them from the vents or whatever, because I mean it's not great still, but at least they're like more obscured by whatever's around, you know.
This is also, and it's interesting that like this is about as historical as Doctor Who's gotten for a while, where it's kind of a historical, but also psychic abilities, ability
rock
to read
monsters,
the future, rock monsters, you know, lava aliens. The whole like psychic thing is, I mean, it's fine, like, but it's weird, and they do the kind of like fantasy science, explain it away with like they're inhaling basically the rock monsters, so that affects them with a psychic whatever, but like. I feel like there was definitely some future telling in there, some accurate future prediction.
Yeah, there was, because they were connected to the rock monster.
Did they try to tie that to like? Did the Doctor have a line about them tapping into the time stream? Is that how they kind of explained away that? I feel like there might have been a line like that actually.
I don't.
Doesn't
recall.
matter. But that did like. Where I don't know if he was a mayor or whatever he was, the guy and the daughter of the family having like the soothsayer show off.
Yeah.
Where Doctor of Gallifrey and whatever, like just like showing this information that they're getting glimpses of.
Yeah.
But I like that scene. It's good. And it also like, of course they have the whole season written before they're going to production, but like threading, you know, he says to Donna, you know, there's something on your back or whatever.
Yeah.
But threading that this early is good. Stuff like that I really liked. PCAP. He's great.
As a character.
He this is not the PCAP we grow to love, is it? Like he's kind of an over actor at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
He's perhaps appropriate for the characters because it's interesting. And I was reading on Wikipedia for like trivia or whatever. But they also talk about the reception, right? Of how it was received. And that was the criticism, is like the writing for Donna and the Doctor was very well received. People praised the writing and the acting, of course. But criticism was levied at the writing of like basically all the supporting characters, which would primarily be the family, because they're a little like flimsy. They're a little thin, one note. Like, oh, the son doesn't want to do whatever. He's just like a drunken layabout. And yeah. So his overacting is not totally out of place in it. Because their characters are a little comical.
Okay, you guys don't remember the spider? That was like 2 episodes ago, right? The spider lady?
Yeah.
Overacting,
right.
I think, is the standard
listen.
at that point with, you know.
Right.
Fair enough.
What do you mean, Melanie?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hated the spider lady. Not because she was creepy, because she was not good. Okay, well, there was actually some interesting little bits of trivia. Where was it? Am I on the right one? Let me find it. Sorry.
Jeez, Randy, be prepared.
Okay. There are other continuity links in this. The script includes a scene in which the Doctor admits partial responsibility for the Great Fire of Rome as depicted at the end of the 1965 serial The Romans, which is a full-on First Doctor historical. But that's actually one of my favorite First Doctor serials because it's like a weird comedy. It's so weird. It's like a weird historical comedy where they're just like hanging out in Rome. They're just hanging out in Rome.
Isn't Barbara like a goddess or something? Like,
I mean, and the Doctor's just kicking it in like I don't know what the name.
Kind of flirting with the gal, right?
Yeah. It's a great episode. So any nods to that are a great several episodes. It's one of the few, I think, old school historicals, like First Doctor period historicals, that I'd be like, yeah, I want to revisit that. In fact, I do. Someday we should do that for the podcast because it's such a kind of off-kilter one.
It's funny because like the First Doctor run has a bunch like that where it's like the Romans, the Aztecs,
right?
You know, I mean, like, and then Keys of Marinus.
right.
You know, just like it just goes way out there.
Like, I mean, at this point, they gotta like. I feel like they have to get pretty creative.
Right.
They can't just. I don't know. I guess they get the Romans again.
The Jews. No.
wait. I don't remember that episode of Doctor Who.
They couldn't just do that anymore. Weird.
And then the other thing was there was a nod. Oh, okay. I mean, this is I feel like a looser connection of just about the sale of the TARDIS being as modern art. Refers to the 1979 serial City of Death, in which which includes a scene in which the TARDIS is appraised in a similar fashion. So that's fun.
That's one of my favorite episodes of all time.
City of Death?
Yeah. Douglas Adams. Fourth Doctor. What a wonderful butler. He's so violent.
That's such...
It's such a Tom Baker line.
I was going to say, you said that put Tom Baker like right in my mind's eye. Okay. Well, let's hop over real quick then to Planet of the Ood.
An ood, I love an ood. So that's 11, isn't it? Yeah. Ooh, an ood, I love an ood.
I want to say this one I think is slightly unrealistic because humans are pieces of poop, but I think buying a creature person thing and them being like, yeah, they love to serve you. That's what they want. I think most humans at this point would be like, I'm not buying it. I could be wrong, but I feel like we would. We have enough history.
Not unrealistic in that like there's a company that would try to sell them.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But in that there'd be so many, like they're throughout the galaxy, there's, I don't know, they said however many hundreds of thousands out there sold, that there'd be so many people willing to buy. Well, you're probably right, but I think the fact that they have speech and they could be like, well, we're here to serve, like, helps.
Right.
Do they not?
Doctor Who is definitely not the future that Star Trek promises us.
Right. Do they not need to eat? I was thinking about that rewatching this one, where they're just packed into, like, there's a warehouse full of like containers,
shipping containers,
yeah, and like you open it and it's just a bunch of ood standing in there. It's like, how long are they gonna be in there?
I don't know. If they get pink eye, they'll eat your face.
That's true.
But sadly enough, that they actually do that with people. So they probably just have a little bit of food thrown in there with them, and then yeah.
That's a good point. Yes.
No.
Oh. I thought I heard a sound and I didn't want to interrupt. So this one, yeah, I don't know. This one's I like this one. I'm not wild about like the production of it. Like it's an interesting, I do like not that it looks bad, but I think once they get into the warehouse, it's like Oh, it's a warehouse. Cool. But I like the snowy planet. So last episode was the first, like, Donna going back in time, actually time traveling in a significant amount. This is like first going to another planet and, seeing an alien that's not just a big Spider Woman or. Actually,
and this is the one that breaks her and tells her and makes her decide she wants to go home and quit. Like she's ready to quit in this episode.
well, I mean, it's like, oh, we just murdered a city in in the past on Earth, and then we come out here and we find people like 2,000 to 3,000 years in the future are we got a huge slave trade. They're selling it across the galaxy,
Cutting people's brains off, putting a globe there.
Yeah.
That's pretty dark. Okay, so the obviously the slavery thing's super dark, but then like to add the like lobotomizing them essentially,
Yeah,
it makes it just another level of super dark.
Not only lobotomizing them, it's like they take part of them and imprison it, and then it's really what they did to the Ood was horrible. But the best thing about it, they make the Ood, even though they're supposed to be scary, and they do look kind of scary, I suppose. The bad guys, you still throughout, I feel, not even just at the end, but throughout it, feel like they're the good guys, even though they do some devious stuff, man. Really, like that slowly poisoning the big bad guy. Man, that was messed up stuff right there. But he deserved it. But still.
Yeah, the Ood are such an interesting characters because like they're first introduced in, I think it was the pair of episodes. The second one's like it's the one with Satan, right? And they get overshadowed by Satan because they did a Doctor Who episode with Satan in it. But
yeah,
the Ood are so weird because they are in there and here kind of scary. They make them like they make them a threat, but at the same time they're not bad.
No.
But they just happen to always get controlled, mentally controlled to doing bad things.
Well, they carry their brains on the outside. It's probably not the most difficult thing in the world to control them.
True. I do like how quick. Oh, I really like when so Donna, other planet. I do like the snowy landscape. It's clearly digital, like matte painting, but it looks nice. And I do like that the first, like, other than the spider thing, the first, like, alien she comes across, she's initially like, oh my God, what is that? But then there's quickly like, oh, he's dying, and there's sympathy, and like her view towards Ood totally changes like instantly. But also it's just like, welcome to the universe. Have some horrible depression. Here's a creature, the first like potentially friendly creature you met is dying. So here you go, Donna.
I also love how like Donna just like does not care about his like soliloquies, like he's like Donna Noble, out in the world, you're checking out the universe, da 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 da. She's not even there. She went back into the TARDIS to get a coat.
Right.
He's like, she doesn't care. She's like, well, now what now?
They're good. They're a good pair. I don't. It was just I don't know. Just worked out. They happen to be a good pair. Because think about like, I don't know, Martha. It was interesting having like, not that the Doctor's companions aren't capable, but like a super smart, capable companion who's a doctor, like is interesting. But the dynamic was a little lame. I kind of just didn't really work.
There are episodes that I really like, but like, overall, she's not my favorite.
I have two things to say, actually. You said something earlier about them being a good pair, and then that made me think for some reason about poker. And the Ood would be great at poker, and Donna would be horrible. Just saying. Okay, so...
She would be awful at poker.
You say Donna has no poker face?
Yeah.
No.
And then the other thing, what was it? What was the last thing you just said?
Just about the
Martha?
companions being capable.
Oh, yeah, Martha.
And Martha.
I think that what they need is, well, I mean, they need a male companion, first of all. Preferably, a regular type person, I suppose. But then they need somebody from the future. That can be a girl or whatever, or a boy, doesn't matter. That is smart and can do stuff smartly with the Doctor, so that when they break off, because they always do, they're still able to do things without the Doctor holding their hand the whole time.
You mean like Jamie and Zoe?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Right.
Man, I wish they would.
Yeah, they need more variety for sure.
Yeah, I wish they didn't feel compelled to have and at this point it's not even just a companion from present day who's the audience surrogate. Every companion, if there's more than one, is a present day audience surrogate character. I don't know how much that's going to change either, because I don't know her name offhand, but what's the character's name? It's not Cherry Sunday, but it's something ridiculous like that. But the actor or actress, if she goes by that, who's going to be, I guess, 15th companion has been announced. And, I definitely think she's probably, I could be wrong. We don't know anything about her actual character, but I'm assuming
Millie Gibson. What
day.
is her character's name, though?
It's not Cherry Sunday, but when you see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's something like that.
Ruby?
Ruby Sunday?
I don't know.
That's a name already.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is Ruby Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was something like that.
Huh. That is a weird name.
Mm-hmm.
But
they should have an alien, I think. They need to throw an alien in there. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean...
An ood.
Oh, yeah.
It would be great.
Love an ood.
You have to be careful how you say that, because it could...
I guarantee auto captions right now is like, this guy really likes nudes.
He likes the nudes, yes, yeah. Well, they show up in The Doctor's Wife, which was the first episode that Holly ever watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
That's the Neil Gaiman one where the TARDIS becomes a person. And there's an ood. Love an ood.
That's a great episode.
Yeah.
It is a great episode. Yeah, no, the ood. The Doctor always lets him down. Well, I think the idea of this was to play on the fact that, like, the Doctor, like, there wasn't much apparent thought given to the ood from the Satan Pit and whatever the first part of that episode was called, which is a failure of the Doctor's, because he should have been, like, as concerned with that as he would have been any of the human characters. And I kind of feel like this definitely plays on that a bit, and is also a thing that is reoccurring.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't he hear their song?
Right.
That's brutal. And then, like, that whole mind meld with Donna and...
Take it away.
Yeah.
Take it away. Can't do it. I want to go home.
That's the big thing with Donna this episode. That's the big torture for her, I think, is... I should make a chart of the tortures of Donna Noble or whatever. The torment is like the slave song, basically. And
what's horrifying Donna this week?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even know what the next episode is offhand, but I'm sure it's something terrible.
I was thinking about that. Like, we should throw in one of the audio adventures here, because they make a big to-do about the fact that never married, right? But there is an audio adventure where they pretend to be married and they're flipping this house or whatever. That I think would be interesting. But it incorporates the mom and Wilf So I don't know if it's like
Okay.
time appropriate, because I think they're going to go back and incorporate the mom at some point, but they haven't done that yet.
Let's see. Okay, the next one is the Sontaran stratagem.
Oh, wow.
This one is. I remember not being super wild about this one, but
Well, it's a two-parter, so we can't really.
Right. Oh yeah, and then the Poison Sky.
That's a great title.
It is. And then the Doctor's Daughter. Okay. I didn't.
Wow.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that was a Donna adventure.
Me either.
Yeah. And then the
You mean
Unicorn
his
and the
wife?
Wasp.
That's so gross.
And it's not really his daughter though. She's basically almost a clone.
Yeah, but she is a doctor's daughter, isn't she?
No, she's like made from his
No, I meant in real
DNA.
life.
Oh, she is a doctor. Is that why it's the Doctor's daughter? Because
Maybe, because it's the fifth Doctor's actual daughter. Huh.
You're right. Why would she marry a doctor? That's weird.
And by the way, that's
weird.
completely incorrect, because if they made a clone, it would be a male. So they're wrong.
Well, I don't remember how they describe it. Obviously not a direct clone. I guess
She
just
regenerates weird too. Like she just restores?
right.
Or maybe she regenerates correctly and all the other Gallifreyans are doing it wrong.
They're all
Yeah,
doing
maybe.
it wrong. Yeah.
She's like, why are you doing the whole thing? Just,
just heal. Duh. I know I'm new at this, but maybe just heal.
They do that occasionally too. He lost a hand right off.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he knew how to do it. He's like, boom, put it in the hand. Fine.
Yeah, every time they do a doctor regeneration, I think of that one where, was it Romana? Where she's like...
Just trying things on, yeah.
She just comes out totally different body, trying different bodies out, and it's like, wow. The Doctor's just bad at everything, isn't he? He's bad at flying the TARDIS. He's bad at regenerations. He's just not good at stuff.
He's really bad at being the president of Gallifrey.
Yeah.
He just
doesn't do it. He just leaves.
Just doesn't do it. He just Just randomly show up, try to claim the title again, and then it's a whole to-do when they're like, what? No. Which one was it? That was, I think it was the fourth Doctor episode where he just shows up again and he's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm the president. I need to do this. And they're like, you've been gone, dude.
I know they did it when he was the fifth Doctor at some
Maybe
point.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
He should just be like, I was golfing.
I was golfing. Yeah. That's fine.
Very
I
president.
went back in time and I was golfing with Jamie. You're not allowed to see Jamie.
You're right.
Don't you remember War Games?
Freaking Jamie is the best.
He's amazing.
He was good. I don't know why he wouldn't go back and see Jamie again. I feel like that's the thing. That could be a great story beat too. It's like I was never allowed to go back and see him, but then for a long time there was nothing stopping me because Gallifrey didn't exist.
Right. It's because the Doctor's also kind of a d-bag. Because when he ghosts you, he ghosts you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's true.
He'll leave you on an alien planet for decades.
There's literally like
That's right. Well, I guess you're getting married now because this is where you live.
right. What? Especially Tennant rolling around like I'm alone, and he gets a real like upset about it. And I know he's like the post like Rose thing. He's being emo about his relationship, but it's not like there's not multiple support groups worth of people desperate for you to come back to them.
Right, yeah. Jack. Yeah. Captain Jack's.
You think we're going to see Captain Jack ever again?
I don't know.
I mean, if RTD would bring him back if he could.
Right.
I would think. I don't know if he can, because he's like soft canceled, right? Like he's
Right.
canceled, but it was not like
They should do a poll and then see how many people are okay with it. And when he wins, because he will, then they can bring it
Right.
back.
the poll should be: is he Ezra Miller?
Right. Yeah.
I know. You know what? We're no comment. We're not supposed to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
All right. Well, okay. Well, before we do the amazing, let's wrap up this episode. I know this was a little kind of a, sorry, my mouse is not cooperating, disjointed episode, but Fires of Pompeii and Plan of the Ood, and I would say looking at the upcoming next block of episodes, Fires of Pompeii for sure, for me, is one of the more solid ones. Plan of the Ood's pretty good too. But
Definitely the preeminent Ood episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I'd say this is kind of a high point.
Yeah.
And for me, it dips a little bit, but it'll come back around
Right.
towards the end of the season for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these are highly enjoyable. So are we going to dive into the Sontaran double feature? Double
Yeah,
whammy?
it doesn't make sense to break that up, so it seems like
And then-
the next two.
Oh my gosh. Donna is the companion. So we're going to get to Silence in the Library and all that. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited again. I like that one a lot, even though it introduces a character that I'm not wild about later on.
Yeah.
So we could probably do those, and then before Doctor's Daughter, maybe we could throw in some audio drama in there. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to wrap up the podcast for the audio podcast. I'm definitely going to have to edit this thing.
My
Sorry about my voice.
my mama
what's up?
said life was like a box of Grawlix.
It sure is. Box of Grawlix.
I was putting together. I know you're wrapping this up. I was editing this together, the last episode for the audio feed, and I'm like, we used to do this every episode. That's so embarrassing.
For a long time, yeah.
I can't think of any. Grawlix. That's it. It could be anything.
Grawlix. Wow.
If you want to hear more and see more, go to grawlixpodcast.com. Melanie, you got a Grawlix quote you want to do? Nope, she's in the Grawlix. She's in the rest Grawlix.
Elementary, my dear Grawlix.
That's good. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, man, my voice is getting scratchy. Whatever. My schedule flip-flops all over the place, and I was actually up at like normal human time today, which is
Oh, nice. As long as you got enough sleep.
Yeah, I got an okay amount of sleep, but like it's so like I definitely wasn't the night before at or the day before up at normal human time, so it's weird. So that's why I've been a little unfocused.
I feel you. The weather's been weird. We've had all sorts of, snow, and this was parent-teacher conference week, so we had long shifts of work, and didn't do my usual things like martial arts on a Monday. So it's been weird.
That reminds me, martial arts on a Monday. I don't know that I'll actually do it because I don't know. But I was thinking, I was playing some Injustice
Oh,
actually earlier, and I was like, I have so many fighting games, and they're cool games, and I don't really
Yeah.
play them that much. I should start like I flirted at one point like a year ago with doing like Friday night fights or fighting game Fridays, whatever,
Bring
and do
back
a
your
stream.
Grawlix games. Yeah.
And I was thinking like I have Injustice, the first one and the second one, because the second one's on sale right now for like $6, like for the Ultimate Edition or whatever. And I was like, the story modes on those are pretty cool. So maybe I'll play through the story modes on those on stream.
I recently watched a little bit of the story mode of Mortal Kombat 11, and that is bonkers.
Right. I picked up also Mortal Kombat 11. I was gonna get Mortal Kombat 10 as well, but I was like, I don't know. Mortal Kombat. I'm not as worried about playing through Injustice, even though the new Mortal Kombats play the same. I'm just so used to the old school Mortal Kombats.
Mhm.
Even Mortal Kombat like 9 was this way, where they like retain this idea that the end boss has to be cheesily hard, just impossibly hard. And it's like,
yeah.
this, you're not taking my quarters anymore.
Right.
You don't need this sudden ramp up. So I'm worried. I'm sure the newer games aren't like that. They're probably better balanced, but I'm worried about, I'm not great at the games anymore and hitting a character where I just can't beat him. Because I remember playing, and this is when I played like faster games more often back in the day. Steve Geegan come over and I think we had rented Mortal Kombat 9 or whatever, and we blew through the whole story mode and then got stuck on Shao Kahn for like 6 hours. We played this guy over and over and over, and I'm like, why? So that's kind of pushed. Like we spent more time trying to beat the last boss than we did playing through the whole game. So like, that's kind of pushed me off of like the idea of streaming a Mortal Kombat game. Like, I don't know if I want to do that.
yeah. And what you'd shut off the camera for that part, and that'd be when you beat it.
Right.
Like, no, I did. I really did.
But yeah, no, I had watched on YouTube a while ago because they did a DLC, the aftermath of whatever Mortal Kombat 11 must have been, and yeah, the story is crazy, all over the place.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wait till I'm in the rest Grawlix before talking about some stuff that I have no opinion on for 20 minutes.
Because you're in the rest Grawlix. What else are we going to talk about?
Yeah. But you should have waited. I mean, you should have done that before I went in there, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't know you were going in there, though. How are we going to know?
Well,
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that we would do that.
It is.
It is amazing.
You know what else is amazing?
What?
How stupid people are. So, a Brazilian man, Leonard Matthias de Noves.
I feel like we're picking on him already with that name like that.
He passed away from injuries he received last January 16th during a trip to the hospital with his mother. The 40-year-old lawyer was a vocal supporter of gun ownership and wore his concealed handgun into the MRI scanning despite both verbal and written requests to remove all metal objects prior to accompanying his mother to the scan. Everyone is asked to remove their metal objects because MRI machines 1.5 to 3 Teslas of magnetic force to shoot protons in the same direction, and then depending on the surrounding material, they will return back to their position at different speeds. And that's when they use that information to interpret into pictures. That's how MRIs work. So a fridge magnet, though, is like a couple thousandths of a Tesla. So just to, I mean, I don't know if that really helps at all, but so imagine something thousands of times stronger than a regular fridge magnet. They pull metal things to them. So, the gun was in his waistband, and when they turned on the machine, it went off. And he died from the injuries. And the saddest thing is that his death was just the last in a long series of mishaps that have been happening with MRI machines and guns. So now hospitals are considering installing metal detectors in the rooms just before you go into the MRI machines.
Wow, wow.
Well, I mean, rising gun ownership, especially in the U.S., it's kind of getting to become necessary. So if you own a gun or any weapon that's made of metal, freaking take it off before you go to the hospital, please. It's not a difficult thing to do, and it could save your life. That's all for today.
Yes.
It's not the same type of amazement I was expecting.
It's all right,
It's not
right.
the usual amusement. Yeah, no, MRI machine accidents are awful, awful things.
They are awful things, but something like that, well, really, most of them could be avoided to begin with. But, I mean, there's some weird stuff, like it accidentally pulled in an oxygen tank from another room.
Yeah.
You know, that's happened. But a gun, you know, you don't need to wear a gun into the room. Somebody's going to MRI you to death? I mean, it's silly. There's no point in it. And the biggest thing is, they had asked him and had him sign paperwork to say that he wasn't going to carry metal. It's just a stupid thing that could have been easily avoided. And I know not everyone has the same level of intelligence. It's an array. So anyone listening that maybe isn't sure where they fall on that array, just keep your metal stuff at home.
Right.
Also, you don't need a gun if you're that dumb.
Right. You don't need a gun to go to the grocery store or to the hospital or.
Right.
Yeah.
But what if?
Oh no. No.
What if I get to shoot somebody?
No.
I mean, defend myself.
No. Magnets. How do they work?
I know. That's the better aspect.
They make you shoot yourself.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sorry. That's not funny. Ugh. Anyway.
I feel bad for. See, that story, if it was just him, I don't feel bad.
His mom.
I feel bad. I feel bad for his mom.
Yeah, I know. That's horrible.
Well, all parties involved have to just watch this guy shoot himself by accident, even though they tried not to let that happen.
Right.
Yep.
Right. They did several safety procedures that were just not followed by a lawyer. It's just the whole thing is ridiculous to me. Stop it. People, stop it.
Maybe he was just packing so much he forgot he had that.
That's possible, I suppose. I mean,
I doubt it. If you are packing
a lawyer,
so much, you forgot you have a gun. You probably shouldn't have the gun.
A lawyer could be under a lot of, fear. I'm sure he's got past clients, or maybe not clients, maybe the opposing side that are after him. I suppose that could be, but it's not something that you would think you would forget.
If you just take a second, amendment.
So yeah.
I have been watching some lawyer react videos on YouTube. Those are fun. Attorney Tom, he's the best. He's got a lot of personality.
He does.
Attorney
like
Tom.
Attorney
That
Tom.
sounds like a good YouTube channel, right?
It
there.
is actually. I like it a lot.
What's his whole like theme song shtick? He's the critical injury attorney, or the catastrophic injury attorney.
Yeah.
Injury attorney who accidentally became a YouTuber.
Yeah.
That's a great brand right there.
There are several YouTube like lawyers on YouTube. Yeah, no, and he's not even like, because there's some that are like they're lawyers in the relevant thing. He's just a lawyer and he's reacted to other things, but he's particularly interesting, I think, because he's got good personality, and
yeah, I love that it depends.
He's not super buttoned up about it. Like he's laid back. And he doesn't take things too seriously, except for whatever, when things are real, like he's reacting to super serious stuff. But yeah, it depends. Like he'll do a bunch of things, like he'll take questions or whatever. He's got a subreddit. He'll scroll through subreddit and react to things. And his answer to most things usually like, is there a case here? Or, is there a lawsuit here? And he's like, it depends. It's like almost every time. But that's such a lawyery thing. It's just like,
right.
can't
But
say
it does,
yes, can't say no.
Yeah.
Maybe.
what state are you in? What exactly were you doing at the time?
Right.
You know, all these factors. But yeah, I think it's great fun, and especially when he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure that's illegal, but it was funny."
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so if you want to watch more, go to youtube.com/attorneytom. No. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jesse, you got anything you want to mention before we go?
No.
I put an album out last week, by the way.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I did. Go listen to it. Superscience.xyz is the website. That'll have the link to everywhere. YouTube.
What's the name of the album?
The album is Tooth and Claw. It's mostly metal. It's not pure metal. Like
some of it is tooth and some of it is claw.
Some of it is claw.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't market directly to metalheads because they're gonna hear a synthesizer and be like, "Oh,
right. You're like, oh, that kind of metal."
Yeah.
I mean, if they only knew I didn't even lay a finger on a guitar to make this whole thing.
Oh, canceled.
But it still rocks.
That's the important thing.
Yeah. Also, Jesse, did you get that CD? A CD?
I did get a CD. It's right back here. The future.
I should have. I regretted not doing it. You ordered the CD, and I was like, I could just slip. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's the one that came out not that long ago.
Yeah.
Towards the
It was
end of last year.
Bandcamp Friday. It came out in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Says so on the back here.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. I was like, maybe I'll just add, because I know you'd ordered Blood at one point, and I almost was like, I could also throw in the first, third, fourth, and fourth.
I've got
CD.
the first and the second one. I've got the first.
Oh, you have the
second.
first and the second.
Yeah, and so I was like,
that.
"Ooh, I can't really get all of them because I've got the first two." So
right. I don't know how to set that up because I could easily. I'll just tell like, hey, I could easily just do a package of whatever, because it's literally I can just be like this one, and I'll throw them in a box and ship them out. So I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hey, thanks everybody.
Hey.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Melanie.
You're welcome. You're welcome out there, internet.
We watched the new Aqua Teen movie last night. Okay. Anyway, we don't have time to talk about some more stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.